What if I told you that some of Hollywood's biggest stars didn't earn their largest paychecks from massive upfront salaries, but by deliberately choosing to take less? It might sound surprising at first, but in the film industry, one of the smartest financial moves an actor can make is betting on the success of a movie instead of demanding a guaranteed fee. And when that bet pays off, it can turn into a career-defining jackpot. In Hollywood, this strategy is known as backend deals or profit participation. Instead of taking a large salary upfront, actors negotiate a percentage of the film's revenue, sometimes from profits, sometimes even from the gross. It's a risky move because if the movie fails, they could walk away with far less than their usual pay. But if the movie becomes a hit, the rewards can be enormous, often far exceeding any fixed salary. One of the most famous examples of this strategy comes from Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film Twins. At the time, Arnold was already a major action star, commanding huge salaries for films like The Terminator. But Twins was different. It was a comedy, something audiences weren't used to seeing from him, and the studio wasn't confident enough to offer massive upfront paychecks. So instead, Arnold teamed up with Danny DeVito and director Ivan Reitman and made a bold decision. None of them would take a salary. Instead, they would split a significant portion of the film's profits. Now, on paper, this might have looked like a gamble. The film had a relatively modest budget of about $15 million, and there was no guarantee it would succeed. But when Twins hit theaters, it exceeded all expectations. The movie grossed over $216 million worldwide, becoming a massive commercial success. Because of their deal, Arnold didn't just earn a paycheck, he earned a fortune. His share came out to roughly $40 million, making it the biggest single payday of his career at the time. And the best part? That money kept coming in as the film continued to perform through home video, TV rights, and international markets. This deal didn't just make Arnold richer, it changed how actors and studios approached negotiations. It showed that sometimes, believing in a project can be more profitable than playing it safe. And now let's talk about Leonardo DiCaprio, an actor known not just for his performances, but also for making incredibly smart career choices. By the time he was approached for Inception, DiCaprio was already one of the highest-paid actors in the world, earning around $20 million per film. Then came Christopher Nolan with a complex, mind-bending script that was anything but a guaranteed blockbuster. Inception wasn't based on a book, a sequel, or a known franchise. It was an original idea, something studios often consider risky, especially when the budget is high. Instead of demanding his usual salary, DiCaprio made a strategic move. He agreed to reduce his upfront pay in exchange for back-end points, a share of the film's earnings. This aligned his success directly with the movie's performance. When Inception was released, it became a global phenomenon. Audiences were captivated by its concept, visuals, and unforgettable ending. The film went on to earn more than $839 million worldwide. Because of his deal, DiCaprio didn't just get paid, he cashed in big. With gross points and residuals, his total earnings reached around $59 million. That's nearly triple what he might have earned with a standard salary. And once again, it proved that taking a calculated risk can lead to extraordinary rewards. Then there's Tom Hanks and the iconic film Forrest Gump. At first, Hanks was offered a $7 million salary for the role. For most actors, that would be more than enough. But Hanks saw something special in the story, something worth betting on. So instead of taking the guaranteed money, he chose profit participation. He essentially said, "Pay me based on how well the movie does." But what makes this story even more interesting is that Hanks went a step further. He actually used some of his own money to help cover production costs when the film ran into budget issues. That's a level of confidence you don't see very often. When Forrest Gump was released, it became a cultural phenomenon. The film resonated with audiences around the world, earning nearly $680 million globally and winning multiple Academy Awards. And Hanks? His share of the profits came out to roughly $60 million. That one decision transformed a $7 million paycheck into one of the most profitable acting deals in history. It also reinforced his reputation not just as a great actor, but as someone who truly understands the business side of Hollywood. Finally, let's look at Bruce Willis, whose story shows how a setback can turn into a massive opportunity. After a project caused significant financial losses for the Walt Disney Company, Willis found himself in a position where he needed to rebuild trust with the studio. Instead of insisting on his usual high salary, he agreed to a different kind of deal. He would take lower upfront pay for multiple films, giving the studio some financial flexibility. But in return, he negotiated back-end participation, ensuring that if the movies succeeded, he would share in the profits. One of those films was The Sixth Sense. For this project, Willis accepted $14 million upfront, less than what he could have demanded, but secured a percentage of the film's earnings. When the movie hit theaters, it became a global sensation. With its unforgettable twist ending, it grossed nearly $673 million worldwide. Thanks to his back-end deal, Willis earned around $100 million in profit participation alone, bringing his total earnings for the film to about $114 million. When combined with other films in his agreement, including Armageddon and The Kid, this strategy turned into one of the smartest financial moves of his entire career. So what's the bigger lesson here? In Hollywood, success isn't just about talent, it's also about timing, strategy, and the willingness to take risks. These actors didn't just rely on their fame, they made calculated decisions. They believed in the projects they chose, trusted the people they worked with, and were willing to trade short-term security for long-term gain. Of course, this strategy doesn't always work. For every success story, there are projects that fail, leaving actors with far less than they might have earned with a guaranteed salary. That's what makes these decisions so bold. It's not just about confidence, it's about informed risk-taking, but when everything aligns, the right script, the right director, the right timing, the payoff can be extraordinary. So whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger stepping into comedy, Leonardo DiCaprio trusting a visionary director, Tom Hanks backing a heartfelt story, or Bruce Willis turning a setback into an opportunity, one thing becomes clear. In Hollywood, the biggest paydays don't always come from the paycheck you see up front, they come from the risks you're willing to take behind the scenes.